Warzone 2 Season 2 was the biggest update since launch. However, it introduced a lot of new problems, and the most important one we're going to talk about today is an FPS drop. I personally lost 20 to 40 frames per second across the game, but I fixed it. And today I want to go over the settings I'm currently using, and I'm going to give you 4 free config files that you can use right away to increase your FPS or get better quality. Let's go right into the settings, and we're going to go over everything here, and then I'm going to show you the setting I used to increase my FPS after it fell from Season 2. So in here, I run unlimited. It kind of helps with the top end frames, but obviously this is going to be something preference. I don't think anything else in here is important. View, I'm still running. If you've seen my previous videos, I'm running 115 as the field of view. Other than that, this is also kind of personal preference, so like you decide. Now we'll go into quality. This is what I'm currently running, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit as well. So first, render resolution at 100, obviously. Fidelity FX CAS at 90. Filmic SMAAT2X on normal. You could run this on low if you really wanted to. 85. So this number used to be pretty important. It seems after Season 2, the difference isn't there as much. Just make sure you're giving enough for other programs to run. If you stream like I do, by the way, I do that right here on YouTube, then you will want this down a little bit. I was running 80 for a while, but 85 seems to work just fine. So I'm giving it a little bit more. I'm also running texture resolution, texture filter, anisotropic, nearby level of detail, distant level of detail, all high. Now, you can run these as you wish. I want the game to look a little bit better. I have a little more higher end system. And don't worry, the config files that I offer range from competitive to max FPS to extreme quality to good quality plus FPS. I recommend you try all of them. I will show you guys all about that. Particle quality low. I will never run particle quality. I don't see a reason for it. Particle quality level, very low. Bullet impacts, I don't really use. Persistent damage layers, also don't use. Shader quality is on medium instead of low. You could probably run this on low. I haven't tested this too much to see the big difference. Tessellation all. Terrain memory max. I feel like this helps with your LOD, your line of distance sight. So I suggest keeping this on max. It doesn't look like it actually does anything to your FPS. It's just more of a, if you have storage in the allowed stash to store memory, if that makes sense. So I turn this to max for sure. Streaming quality normal, volumetric quality low, defadered, physics quality off, water caustics off, shadow map resolution very low, screen space shadows off, spot shadow quality low, spot cache high. Again, I'm just kind of keeping this on because it says to. Particle lighting low, and also spot cache is kind of has to do with your VRAM. So if you have the VRAM, just turn it up. Ambient occlusion off. This actually makes your shadows harder to see. So if you look in the picture here, look how nice this is, and it's darker here. Obviously, it's not that big of a difference in this picture, but in a shadow part of the map, you will notice a difference. Screen space reflection high. So I have this on high because this setting actually changes the way your skins look. They make them look way better if you have this on high. Normal doesn't change much, and off it just doesn't do anything. So high for me is where I'm running it. Static reflection quality low, weather grid volumes off. NVIDIA reflex low latency on. Now, all of the config files I'm giving you guys here are optimized and ready for Season 2. I went through and fixed all of them myself this morning, so they're good to go. Let me show you the setting that actually changed everything. So in your documents, Call of Duty, players, and then the options.3.cod22. Obviously, if you've been around long enough, you know what this file is, right? So if we open this bad boy up, you'll see there's a bunch of settings in here. First, we're going to talk about this one. Thread count for handling the job queue. So this needs to match how many cores you have. So open up Task Manager. We drag this over. Click on CPU. Okay, so you're going to see my cores are 16. I recommend you do half of your cores. Unless... So my CPU has 8 performance cores and 8 E-cores. And the E-cores aren't really made for gaming. So I have 8 performance cores, meaning I have 8 cores for gaming. A lot of you are not going to have E-cores and performance cores. You're just going to have regular cores. So I suggest trying half your cores. So minus 8. I'm using 8 right now. And I would suggest using your full amount of cores as long as you don't have E-cores and performance cores. So a lot of people have been asking me about this, so I figured I'd cover it a little bit here. This is an important setting. If you don't change this and use the default, you will lose performance 100% for sure. I've tried it again. I tried it with season 2. Mine is default to 15. It's terrible. I lose FPS running it on 15. On 8, it's good. 5 also works pretty well, but I feel like the lower FPS dips are like the 1% are much lower. I've tried 4 and it seems about the same as 5, maybe a little bit better. I don't know. But 8 seems to be the sweet spot. I've tested this number quite a bit. For my CPU, 8 works well. You're going to want to test with your CPU as well. Now let's talk about the setting that is changing everything right here. Enables the async compute for specific cases. If you noticed an FPS drop in season 2 and nothing changed for you hardware wise, this is probably the setting that did it. So I set this to true, and by the way, it is now updated in all of the config files you can find down below. But I noticed a 20 to 40 FPS drop after season 2, and I didn't know what happened. But yesterday I tested out changing this to true and it completely fixed it. My FPS is back to normal. There's no more issues. It's perfect. But you should definitely give it a try. All of my config files down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys drop a like, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. Digging through these settings constantly, it's a lot more work than it might look. I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.